right. Mark 5, King James Version, chapter 5. And they come over unto to the other side of the sea, into the country of the Gadarenes. And when he has come out of the ship, immediately there met him out of the tombs a man with an unclean spirit, who has his dwelling among the tombs, and no man could bind him, no, not with chains, because that he had been often bound with fetters and chains, and the chains had been plucked asunder by him, and the fetters broken in the pieces. Neither could any man tame him, and always night and day he was in the mountains and in the tombs, crying and cutting himself with stones. But when he saw Jesus afar off, he ran and worshipped him, and cried with a loud voice and said, What have I to do with thee, Jesus, thou Son of the Most High God? I adjure thee by God, that thou torment me not. For he said unto him, Come out of the man, thou unclean spirit. And he asked him, What is thy name? And he answered, saying, My name is Legion, for we are many. And he besought him much that he would not send them away out of the country. Now there was a nigh unto the mountains a great herd of swine feeding. And all the devils besought him, saying, Send us into the swine, that we may enter into them. And forthwith Jesus gave them leave, and the unclean spirits went out, and entered into the swine, and the herd ran violently down a steep place into the sea. And we were choked in the sea. And they that fed the swine fled and toiled into the city and in the country, and they went out to see what it was that it was done. And they had come to Jesus and said him that what was possessed, and the devil had a delusion, sitting and clothed and in with his right mind, and they were afraid. And that they saw, it told them how it befell to him that was possessed with the devil. And also concerning the swine, and they began to pray him to depart out of their coasts. And when he come to the ship, that he had been possessed with the devil, praying him that he might be with him. Howbeit Jesus suffered him not, but saith unto him, Go home to thy friends, and tell them how great things the Lord hath done for thee, and hath had compassion on thee. And he departed and began to publish in Decapolis how great things Jesus has done for him, and all men did marvel. And when Jesus was passed over again by ship into another side, much people gathered unto him, and he is nigh unto the sea. And behold, there cometh one of the rulers of the synagogue, Jairus by name, and when he saw him, he fell at his feet, and besought him greatly, saying, My little daughter liveth at the point of death. I pray thee, come and lay thy hands on her, and that she may be healed, and she shall live. And Jesus went to him, and much people followed him, and followed him. And a certain woman, which had an issue of blood 12 years. He had suffered many things of many physicians, and he had spent all those that she had. It was nothing bettered, but rather grew worse. When she has, well, sorry, excuse me. When she had heard of Jesus, came in the past behind and touched his garment. For she said, if me I touch but his clothes, I shall be whole. And straightway the fountain of her blood was dried up, and she felt in the body that she was healed from that plague. And Jesus, immediately knowing in himself that virtue had gone out for him, turned him into the press, and said, who touched my clothes? And his disciples said unto him, thou seest the multitude throwing him thee, and sayest thou, who touched me? And he looked round about to see her, and that had done this thing. But the woman, fearing and trembling, knowing what was done in her, came out and fell down before him, and told him all the truth. And he had said unto her, daughter, thy faith hath made thee whole. Go in peace, and be whole of thy plague. While as yet spake, there came from the ruler of the synagogue's house certain which said, thy daughter is dead. Why troublest thou the master any further? As soon as Jesus heard the whole word that was spoken, he saith unto the ruler of the synagogue, be not afraid, only believe. And he had suffered no man to follow him, save Peter and James and John and the brother of James. And he cometh to the house of the rulers of the synagogue, and seeth the tumult, and them that wept and wailed greatly. And when he is come in, he saith unto them, why make ye this ado, and weep? The damsel is not dead, but sleepeth. And they laughed him to scorn. But when he had put them all out, he taketh the father and the mother of the damsel, and them that were all with him, and they entereth in while the damsel was lying. He took the damsel by the hand, and said unto the Talitha cumi, which is being interpreted, damsel, I say unto thee, arise. And straightway the damsel arose, and walked, for she was of the age of 12 years. And they were astonished with great astonishment. And he charged them straitly that no man should know it, and commanded that something should be given her to eat.
Alright, so the summary here, I'll go. After the storm, they all come safe and sound to the other side of the lake. Their destination, Gadara. One problem with these locations is that both they come upon the day Michael Myers living in a cemetery. This guy is possessed by a demonic heavyweight, breaks bonds, cries out night and day, and maltreats his flesh with stone. He bows down before Jesus. Since he knows that Jesus is the Son of the Most High God. Begs Jesus not to go too hard on him. Like all demons, this one is pretty smart. He just tells the demon to go out and demands to see his license and registration. Turns out that a whole army of demons inhabits this poor guy. Legion is a Roman military term which designated around 6,000 troops. Let's see here. Uh, Granting Legion's request, Jesus expels the demon 1,000 pigs, rush off, cliff, into the sea, and drown. Also, I'm pretty sure that the Jews did not eat pigs. Pigs were unclean animals that the Jews were not allowed to eat.
It seems like it.
Yeah, because they still held on to a bunch of laws, and of those laws, some older commandments that God had given the Israelites was don't eat pigs. Because let's see, there's actually a good reason why they shouldn't have eaten pigs. Because if pig is cooked improperly, or even if it's not, it can really filthy. Pigs are really, and back in the day, they didn't really have the medication to treat the sicknesses that came along. So now
Oh,
you would get food sickness from if you eat poorly prepared pig, you can actually get poisoning nowadays. But we've got modern medicine. They didn't have modern medicine. They had ancient medicine. That didn't. Let's see here. Granting Legion's request, Jesus expels the demons, herd of 2,000 pigs which rush off a cliff into the ground. That's visible proof of Jesus' mastery over the demonic world. By the way, Jews didn't herd pig because pork isn't kosher. Oh, so this means that for the first time in Mark, we are in a predominantly non-Jewish territory, or the pigs could have been herded by non-practicing Jews. Those tending the pigs report these events to the city and the surrounding countryside. Everybody comes and sees that Michael Myers has become a well-dressed model citizen. They hear the exorcism and the pigs, they ask Jesus to get out of Dodge. Jesus and his disciples get back on their boat, and the guy who is possessed asks to join them. Jesus tells him to stay and tell his people about the Lord's great mercy and miraculous deeds. He does, and many non-Jews are struck with the same awe for Jesus as the Jews on the other side of the lake.
all right.
Jesus didn't fuck somebody's life. He fucked up oh yeah, he fucked up somebody who wasn't keeping.
Pretty much.
See here. Stopped at 12. Alright. Jesus returns to the other side of the lake where a great crowd awaits the shore. The leader of a synagogue named Jairus falls at Jesus' feet, while he requests Jesus to revive his daughter who is dying. Jesus goes with him and the crowd follows, giving very little personal space. While in the crowd, there's a woman who's also been worsening hemorrhages for the last 12 years. Fucking minute. She, let's see, after spending all of her money on doctors who have utterly failed to treat her, touches Jesus' clothing with the expectation that doing this will provide a cure. Simply touching Jesus' clothes does what money and doctors could. Jesus inwardly recognizes that his power had been exerted, stops dead in his tracks, and asks, "Who touched my clothes?" The disciples suggested that his question is kind of dumb because, there's.
Well, that's rude.
Yeah. This woman is afraid because she knows that she's been healed. Now she's gonna get into some trouble for accosting Jesus. She falls before Jesus and confesses the full truth, but Jesus doesn't mind. She didn't accost him. She had faith, and that is what saved her. Good job. She should enjoy her health. Narrator now resumes the same story that started in chapter 5, verse 21, or as people inform Darius that his daughter has died, he shouldn't waste Jesus' time. Death isn't going to stop Jesus, who tells Darius not to fear and to have faith. Jesus takes Peter, James, and John, and they all enter the house of Jairus where the people are mourning. Jesus tells them to not mourn because the child is not dead. They're all like, "What the fuck, Jesus? You fucking retarded? This kid's obviously dead."
Oh god.
Let's see. me a second. I have to read this because this translation is a little... Oh, okay. So the commentary here is saying Jesus takes her hand and says, Talitha, come. As in, like, jizz from the dick, come. But that's not what the Bible says.
No, that's
Bible
not what the
says, Talitha kumai.
Yeah, yeah. Come.
Which, which is being interpreted, damsel, I say unto thee. So here's your lesson in ancient languages for the day. This is an Aramaic phrase, which Mark subsequently translate into Greek for us. At least some members of ancient audience who must not have known Aramaic. Back to the story, little girl gets up and walks. The narrator adds the detail that she was 12 years old. That's interesting, but why is it important? Jesus orders them to not tell anyone about this. Oh yeah, he also tells them to go get some food. Just dead, for crying out loud. Christ, she's dead. Let's see.
She's dead. She needs food. Damn it, give her food. We're bread and wine.
Jesus and his disciples go to Jesus' hometown, which we know to be Nazareth. As he usually does, Jesus teaches in a synagogue on the Sabbath. Everybody's truly astounded, but come on, he grew up with these people. So, like, they remember changing his diaper and shit. So they're offended that they're being taught by the kid diaper they changed. Jesus informs them that it's actually normal that prophets are without honor in their hometowns. As a result, almost everyone misses out on getting healed. Jesus finds their lack of faith disturbing. Contrast with Jairus and the bleeding woman who have faith should be obvious. Narrator summarizes, Jesus continues to teach in Galilean villages rather than Nazareth. Alright, I think we've got enough time if we read through the next chapter rather quickly. The cummy. Taken here.
Oh wow. 56 verses.
Oh yeah, shit.
Well, who's gonna read this one since I already learned the last one?
I'll read this one.
Okay.
Holy shit, 56 verses. Alright, let me blow my nose first, because this is gonna... I'm gonna sound nasally throughout this entire thing if I don't. Holy shit, this is eucalyptus scented. This is so good. Oh. Discord fucked out on me. This eucalyptus smelling tissue paper is so good, dude.
Amen.
It's me? Alright. Stick rolling. And he went out from there and came unto his own country, and the disciples followed him. When the Sabbath day was come, he began to teach in the synagogue. And many hearing him were astonished, saying, From whence hath this man these things? And what wisdom is this which giveth that given unto him? Even such mighty works are wrought by his hands. Copy and paste chapter. Secondary chat. Here it is. Read along. Is not this the carpenter, the son of Mary, and the brother of James and Joseph and of Judah, Simon? And are not his sisters here with us? They were offended at him. Also, fun fact, Mary Magdalene did not stay a virgin. Or not Mary Magdalene. But Jesus' mummy did not stay a virgin. Got laid. But Jesus said unto them, A prophet is not without honor, but in his own country, among his kin, and in his own house. And he could there do no mighty work, save that he laid his hands upon a few sick folk and healed them. He marveled because of their unbelief. He went round the villages teaching. He called unto them the 12, and began to send them forth by 2 and 2, and gave them power over unclean spirits. Commanded them that they should take nothing for their journey, save a staff only, scrip, bread, money in their purse, but be shod with sandals, and not put on 2 coats. And he said unto them, What place soever ye enter into an house, there abide till ye depart from that place. And whosoever shall not receive you, nor hear you, when ye depart thence, shake off the dust under your feet for testimony against them. Verily I say unto you, it shall be more tolerable for Sodom and Gomorrah in the day of judgment than for that city. And they went out and preached that men should repent. And they cast out many devils, anointed with oils many that were sick, and healed them. And King Herod heard of him, for his name was spread abroad. And he said that John the Baptist was risen from the dead, and therefore mighty works do shew forth themselves in him. Others said, That is Elias. And others said, That is a prophet, or as one of the prophets. But when Herod heard thereof, he said, It is John, who I have beheaded, and he is risen from the dead. For Herod himself had sent forth and laid hold upon John, bound him in prison for Herodias' sake, his brother Philip's wife, for he had married her. For John had said unto Herod, It is not lawful for thee to have thy brother's wife. Therefore Herodias had quarrel against him, and would have him killed, but she could not. For Herod feared John, knowing that he was a just man, and a holy, and observed him. When he had heard them, he did many things, and heard him gladly. And when a covenant day was come, that Herod on his birthday made a supper to the lords, high captains, and chief estates of Galilee. And when the daughter of the said Herodias came in, danced, and pleased Herod, and them that sat with him, the king said unto the damsel, Ask of me whatsoever thou wilt, and I will give it to thee. Swear unto her, Whatsoever thou shalt ask of me, I will give it to thee, the half of my kingdom. And she went forth, and said unto her mother, What shall I ask? She said, the head of John the Baptist. Wait, what shall I ask? And the mother said, I want the head of John the Baptist. So, Herod likes John the Baptist. He also wants to get his dick sucked by this girl. Girl asks, Yo, King Herod will do whatever I ask. And the mom's like, fucking kill John the Baptist. Shit.
Oh, crikey.
Yeah. And immediately, the king was exceeding sorry. Yet for his oath's sake, and for their sake which sat with him, he would not reject her, because he had given the king's promise, and the king's promise is love. And immediately the king sent an executioner, and commanded his head to be brought. And he went and beheaded him in the prison, and brought his head in a charger, gave it to the damsel, and the damsel gave it to her mother. The disciples heard of it, they came and took up the corpse, and laid it in a tomb. The apostles gathered themselves together unto Jesus, and told him all things, both what they had done, and what they had taught. He said unto them, Come ye yourselves apart into a desert place, and rest for a while. There were many coming and going. They had no leisure so much as to eat. But they departed into a desert place by ship privately. And the people saw him departing, and many knew him, ran afoot thither unto all cities, and out went them, came together unto him. And Jesus, when he came out, saw much people, passion toward them, because they were as sheep, not having a shepherd, and he began to teach many things. And when the day was now far spent, the disciples came unto him, and said, This is a desert place. Now the time is far past. Send them away, that they may go into the country round about, and into the villages, and buy themselves bread, for they have nothing to eat. He answered and said unto them, Give ye them to eat. And they say unto him, Shall we go and buy 200 pennyworth of bread, and give them to eat? And he said, How many loaves have ye? Go and see. When they knew, they say 5, and 2 fishes. Commanded them to make all sit down by companies, grass. And they sat down in ranks by hundreds and by 50s. And when he had taken the 5 loaves and 2, he looked up to heaven, and blessed, and brake the loaves, and gave them to his disciples, set before them. The 2 fishes divided he among all. They did eat, and were filled. They took up 12 baskets full of the fragments and fishes. They did not eat of the loaves, were about the 5,000 men. Straightway he constrained his disciples to get into a ship, and to go to the other side before unto Bethsaida, while he sent away the people. When he had sent them away, he departed unto a mountain to pray. When he even was come, the ship was in the midst of the sea, on land. And he saw them toiling in rowing. The wind was contrary unto them. And about the fourth watch of the night cometh unto them, walking upon the sea, and would have passed by them. But when they saw him walking upon the sea, they supposed it had been a spirit, and cried out. They all saw him, and were troubled. Immediately he talked with them, and saith unto them, Be of good cheer, it is I, be not afraid. And he went unto them into the ship, and the wind ceased. They were sore amazed in themselves beyond measure, and wondered. For they considered not the miracle of the loaves, for their heart was hardened. And when they had passed over, they came into the land of Gennesaret shore. And when they were come out of the ship, straightway they knew him, ran through the whole region round about, and began to carry about in beds that were sick, where they heard he was. Whithersoever he entered, into villages, cities, or country, they laid the sick in the streets, and sought him. They might touch, if it were but the border of his garment. Many touched him, and were made whole. Alright, so continuing on with the summary. I don't know, it seemed pretty simple to me. How about the rest of you? Pretty straightforward?
It was pretty straightforward.
Yeah. Holy. Alright, so I'm gonna go and read the summary, and then we'll go a little bit over time, but it's not gonna be there. Jesus sends his 12 disciples out in pairs on a kind of business trip, and grants them an authority most businessmen and women today probably wish that they had. Which is the power to fucking control demons. And by control demons, he means get them the fuck out, not like actually tell
Oh.
Completely different. They had some fairly strict codes to follow while they travel. They were permitted to have a staff, but they weren't supposed to carry bread, purse, or money, and they can wear sandals, but they can't take two. They can only have one. They're also supposed to stay in only one person's house for each city. If people do not receive them or listen to the pitch, then they're going to have to just shake the dust off their seat as they exit the city. And hey, a rule's a rule. So, like, Jesus also said that if, like, a city won't accept them, then, like, Sodom and Gomorrah is gonna have it easy compared to what these guys are gonna fucking
Uh-oh.
With these instructions, the disciples go forth and proclaim repentance. Thus, as their own teacher, Jesus and John the Baptist before them did. Looks like they stand in a good company and carry on the work of some of the top dogs. They also exorcise demons and heal the ill, just like their teachers. With their ever-increasing fame, Jesus draws the attention of Herod, who ruled over Galilee. But disagreements prevail over Jesus' identity. Some people think that Jesus' miracle working is because he is John the Baptist. Instead,
Some people think he's Batman.
some people think he's Batman. Some people think just a 787. Some think Jesus' miracle works of John the Baptist. Some people think that he is the ancient prophet Elijah, or another one of the old prophets who have also returned from the dead. Because, like, the Jews have record of prophets too. Like, it was either Elijah or Elisha had, like, called fire down from heaven. So things... Yeah, that's pretty cool. Things get a little spooky for Herod, who is certain that Jesus is John the Baptist, who he had beheaded. Herod is plagued by guilt.
Wait, he gave head to Jesus?
No.
No, oh good god,
He
no.
beheaded Jesus.
Beheaded! Yeah, like, he beheaded him.
Yeah, he
He
got
didn't,
head.
Not gave head, okay? Don't mix
No,
those
no,
two
no, no, no.
words
He
up.
gave the head to his wife. Only the head.
Oh, okay.
Only the
I
head.
bet he did.
Jesus
Ow.
Christ.
So let's see.
But what What chapter are we studying?
This is chapter 6.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Herod is plagued by guilt, and he's confident that John is haunting him. And it sounds like Shakespeare has been reading from the Bible. Narrator takes this occasion to update the story of John the Baptist, because last we heard, John was arrested over in chapter 1, verse 14. Oh. Turns out things didn't go well for John in prison because Herod's wife, Herodias, had a vendetta against John. John criticized Herod for marrying Herodias, who had previously married to his brother Philip. This action is contrary to the Torah. Take a look at Leviticus 18:16. So, like, marrying fucking relatives is not a good thing. So it wasn't
Then
cool.
you end up with Michael.
No, then you end up with you.
Obviously.
Well, I have this button. Herodias was first married. So, for your information, Mark is kind of removed from a few historical facts. Herodias was first married to another brother of Herod, who was also named Herod. Herod wasn't king of Galilee, but tetrarch, which was a little that lacked reminiscence of king, even if the actual post guaranteed powers. Anyway, Herod protects John, respects as a religious leader, actually enjoys listening to John speak, even though he doesn't really understand what he's saying. Impasse arises between Herodias, who wants John dead, and Herod, who likes the guy, so shit's gonna get real. Herodias finally makes her move during one of Herod's birthday parties, when all of the creme de la creme of the political elite were present. Talking, like State of the Union here. Herod's daughter, Herodias, danced before all the guests, who enjoyed some pleasurable dinner theater. If you're interested in some dirty details, no, we're not going to describe the dance. You can imagine for yourself. Oh, yeah, so there's definitely some fucking titty dance. We're asking about the dirty details of the translation. The NRSV calls the girl his, which is Herod's daughter, is named Herodias, while the KJV simply refers to her as the daughter of said Herodias, and doesn't give the girl's actual name. Translations reflect different readings in the manuscript. In fact, Herodias did have a daughter with her previous husband, and her name was Salome. Everyone is so pleased that Herod repeatedly offers her an oath that whatever she wants payment, even up to half of his kingdom. So, like, he promised to her, but he made a promise in front of, like, a bunch of other fucking city elites. So now, like, he's sort of bound to his word. So the girl exits to confer with her mother, Herodias, who requests the head of John the Baptist. The girl returns to the banquet, where she requests the head as her mother directed, but with her own gruesome twist. She wants not only the head, but she wants the head on a fucking plate. So, like, as far as I know, this seems like the first, like, written display of I want his head on a platter. Like, I haven't heard of any earlier manuscripts saying things.
Same. I haven't heard of anything like that.
On hearing her request, Herod grieves. After all, he likes John. Nonetheless, denying her would embarrass him in front of all guests. Herod orders the executioner to behead John. The executioner brings the head on a platter and gives it to the girl, then gives it to her mother. John
Michael, I have a question.
Yeah, what is the question?
What's up with all the head given in the Bible? Like I thought this was the Bible. I thought this was about Jesus, but no, they're talking about head on a silver platter. Like, dude, like, oh my God, they gave so many types of heads over there.
No, it turns out it's just the one head, and they're talking about it. So it's like this,
okay.
It's just one blowjob, but like it's the best blowjob ever. So they're only talking about it in detail.
Okay, so it's just like the best blowjob in the world.
Yeah, it's the best head given.
Oh, okay.
The executioner brings it to the girl, and then blah, blah, blah. John's disciples entomb his headless corpse. After this lengthy flashback, narrator reports that the 12's trip was a big success. Alright, so now... Holy shit.
Well,
So the chapter's not done yet.
What?
No, because this is just a summary, and like we're only halfway done. Well, we're more than halfway done. We're 3/5.
So,
Jesus,
how long-
what's up?
How long is Bible study going on? Because I'm here for the drugs afterwards. Like, I'm just waiting for my drugs.
Yeah, we've got those after.
Oh, okay.
You usually go on for only 30 minutes, but we don't want to like cut things short and like come back to it later. So we're just gonna. Yeah, so this is the last of the summary.
Okay, so
I need my drugs.
okay. Don't worry. You'll get your drug. You'll get your dino drugs.
Okay, let's see.
Thank you.
Jesus suggests that he and the 12 disciples take a little R&R. They've been busy and they haven't really had time to eat. They boat to a deserted place for a private vacation, but many people know exactly where the fuck they are and beat them there. Jesus sees the crowd. Jesus has compassion, for they're like a sheep without a shepherd. A phrase that alludes to Numbers 27:17 is often read as indicating the need for a Messiah. After Jesus instructs them for a long time, his disciples suggest that it's late in the day and they need to go and purchase some food in the surrounding areas. Jesus instructs his disciples to feed the crowd. Disciples are like, yeah, what the fuck? We don't have like 200 fucking pence. We can't buy that much food. What the fuck, Jesus? And so Jesus asks, alright, so how much fucking food do you have? And it's like, alright, well, we got 5 McChickens. And so Jesus just broke up the 5 chicken sandwiches, fucking bread, 2 filet-o-fishes, and they distribute it among 5,000 men. But it's not just the 5,000 men. They also counted, but there's like also women and children there. It's just that like for the purposes of a head count, America doesn't exist and women don't have rights. So like there are women and children there, they just don't count, but they get fed too. So Jesus feeds a fuck ton of people with $7 worth of food, and he goes up to the mountain to pray. From his perch, Jesus sees his disciples in the middle of the lake struggling to tow against adverse winds, or struggling to row against the adverse wind. 3 hours of the morning, Jesus comes to them, walking on fucking water. And the disciples are like, what the fuck, this is a ghost, get out. And Jesus tells them, yo, fuck off, it's me. And then he gets in the boat, and then the winds calm down. The disciples still think it's really fucking weird, but like, they saw Jesus heal the sick, they saw Jesus feed 5,000 people, and then also have more leftovers than they originally had. And like, the narrator informs us that in general they're getting F's on the report card. They arrive at Gennesaret on the other side of the lake. Whatever happened to Bethesda? Or Bethsaida. And then, let's see. Summary, Jesus was a huge success over at Gennesaret. God. And does anybody want to do closing prayer? Oh, okay. Papa J, thank you for the lesson. Thank you for the record of badass thing. Sending like that would have been really cool. Just like a wave of pigs. Just I hope you help these faggots to be less faggoty day-to-day life. I hope stuff in our heart. Papa J. Dismissed. So, Seth, how's everybody doing?